Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Jihan Aldi Muhammad Tahir, and I'm from Group 9 of Data Analytics. So, my team have decided to take on the COVID 19 cases data. And so, out of the 5 questions, I will be answering 2 questions. So, the first question is about which countries have the highest and lowest number of COVID 19 cases. And the second one would be what is the trend of cases over time by country. So, what are the sheets that I have used to answer these 2 questions? So, first is a heat map of the cases corresponding to each country. So, how I did this was first I just took the number of cases and I dragged it into the worksheet. And after that, I put in this number of cases into the marks color tab so that I can tweak how the colors look. And the color that I have used is red, blue, white, diverging, and blue meaning the lowest number of cases and red being the highest number of cases. And the second worksheet I have done is for the number of cases by country in a form of bar graph. And it's the same principle as a heat map, but this is laid out individually. So how I did this was I took the cases number and I dragged it into the worksheet, and I chose the bar chart as my type of chart. And then I took in countries and territories and I dragged it into the color tab to change each country's color, because before I looked at it was all blue or all red and it was quite dull and quite hard to look at. So that's why I decided to change the colors. And lastly is the cases changes over time by country. So how I did this was I used columns as days. At first, I wanted to use years, but when I looked at the data, there was only 2019 and also 2020. There were only 2 years to differentiate the cases. So to me, you can't really see a proper trend or a proper fluctuation of the cases. And for months, was not that much. So I decided to go with days, so we can really see the proper fluctuation of the cases that happens. So how I did this was I dragged the cases into the worksheet and I used a line graph, and I also added a polynomial trend line to show the trend of the graph. And so to put it all together, for question number 1, which countries have the highest and lowest number of COVID-19 cases, I used first the heat map and also the number of cases bar chart. And I use this heat map as my filter. So let's say I want to look at the United States of America, I can press it and it shows me the country's number of cases, total number of cases. And to answer the question itself, which is the highest, would be United States of America at 443,025, and the lowest would be Timor-Leste, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, and also Papua New Guinea. And this heat map is so that I can go into each of these countries without scrolling through one and finding the country itself. And to answer the second question, what is the trend of cases over time by country? Same principle as the before dashboard. I use the heat map as my filter. And to look at trend lines in each individual country, let's say we were to go to Malaysia here. So if I were to press Malaysia on the map, and it shows me the trend line and also the line chart of the data and how it changes with time, with respect to time. And you can do this also with the United States of America and China, so on and so forth. And to put it all together, I've compiled it into a storyboard. So the first one here would be for the first question, and also the second storyboard would be for the second question that I have answered. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Now I'm going to continue with ratio between death and cases reported in each country. First, we put the ratio in the column, and then countries and territories in the rows, and we get the bar chart for the ratio. And the ratio was calculated using the analysis part. And then for the next question, we have expected population in 2021. So here we put the population 2021 in columns and countries and ratio in row. And then we get the bar chart here, the same as the ratio.
This is Nura Atira binti Halim, and I will present to you my dashboard, which is dashboard 3. For dashboard 3, I built a visual story that shows which countries recorded the highest number of deaths due to COVID-19 alongside their total case numbers. First, I connected Tableau to our COVID-19 dataset and cleaned the data to make sure fields like total cases and deaths were properly recognized. Then, I created 2 main visualizations. The first was a map chart that displayed the case density by country. Here, darker shades represent higher numbers of COVID-19 cases, making it easy to spot where the virus will hit the hardest globally. The second one was a scatter plot showing total death versus total case for each country. I added the country name into the marks color section so each country is visually distinct. This way, you can easily compare and see which countries had unusually high death rate relative to the case counts. I put both of these maps into my dashboard. And you can create this dashboard. For example, when you are using this as a filter, for example, you want to see which country has the highest death rate. You can just click on this, and then the maps will show you where the cases is high on which country. Here, you can see that the countries that has the highest death would be Italy, with the cases of 97,689 cases. For example, if you look at here, this country has the most cases, but less than Italy's death, which is 2,509 only. This is my dashboard showing which country has highest death by showing you case density and death versus total case. And